Destinations best skipped. Of all the joys of summer, crowds are not one of them, nor are sky-high seasonal prices and tacky, pop-up attractions designed for the sole purpose of separating you from your money. With this in mind, Cheapism has compiled a list of more than 24 tourist spots that, while worthy of a visit during much of the year, are probably best avoided in summer for exactly those reasons. The list was developed with input and recommendations from tourism authorities and travel bloggers nationwide. Avoid Niagara Falls, New York, and Canada, along with all the natural beauty come crowds by the busload, particularly during summer, and development that has grown to include unrelated attractions as Ripley's Believe It or Not, wax museums, and a Hard Rock Cafe. The bottom line, visit in the off-season. Instead, Tahquamenon Falls State Park, Michigan. Think of this 50,000-acre preserve of primarily undeveloped woodland as a pared-back, rustic version of Niagara Falls in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. Its Upper Falls is one of the largest east of the Mississippi, more than 200 feet across, dropping nearly 50 feet, not a wax museum in sight. Avoid Black Hills, South Dakota. There's Mount Rushmore, Needles Highway winding through pine and spruce forest, and Jewel Cave National Monument, located amid dispiriting tourist traps such as the Stratosphere Bowl, Dinosaur Park, and Storybook Island that landed the region on Wander Wisdom's 10 places to avoid on your next summer vacation. Instead, Chattanooga, Tennessee. Detach from technology and unwind. Rock climbing, hiking Lookout Mountain. There's also a train up, or riding horses, an under-the-radar destination that's experiencing a renaissance. Chattanooga also has new restaurants and bars to check out. Avoid Poconos, Pennsylvania. This place for lovers. Who else remembers that famous ad campaign? In the state's northeast is known for antique shops, waterfalls, and stands of white pines. But being 2 hours from New York City and Philadelphia translates into serious crowds from Memorial Day through Thanksgiving. Instead, northern New Mexico, Taos, a high desert highlight surrounded by the Sangre de Cristo Mountains, is home to a vibrant arts community, including free galleries, historic adobe buildings such as Taos Pueblo, $16 for adults, $14 for children 11 and older, and the Ghost Ranch in Abiquiu, where tours, $37 for adults, $24 for students, explore the geography-inspiring Georgia O'Keeffe paintings. Avoid Mesa Verde, Colorado. This national park in southwest Colorado is famous for cliff dwellings preserved from the 1190s. The park is a must-see, says Joost Schreef, co-founder and CEO of the travel site Kimcom, but come in summer and you'll be touring the cramped spaces with dozens of other visitors. Instead, Canyon de Charlie National Monument, Arizona. Canyon de Charlie is less visited than Mesa Verde, but equally stunning. Photographer Ansel Adams took some iconic images there. You can take a tour of the canyon with Navajo guides, Shreve says, and there's no entrance fee. Avoid Yosemite National Park, California. Beautiful sequoia trees and the granite cliffs of El Capitan Half Dome, also famously photographed by Adams, make this park certainly worth visiting. But summer is the worst time to come to this Northern California hotspot for anyone concerned about crowds and reservations, Shreve says. Instead, Lake Placid, New York. Writing off Lake Placid as merely a snow season destination, as many do, is a mistake, Shreve says. It has boating, hiking, and rock climbing, and visitors can test their skills as future Olympians at the warm weather bobsled experience. Its Olympic Museum admission is $7 for adults, $5 for children. Avoid Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. At only 16.8 square miles, Myrtle Beach averages more than 17 million visitors annually. Talk about crowded. This coastal resort area is known for celebrity-designed golf courses, a boardwalk lined by arcades, And of course the beach, attracting enormous crowds starting in June when school is out. Try September or October instead. Ocracoke Island, North Carolina. Check out Ocracoke Island in North Carolina, a place to take a deep breath, slow down, and enjoy good food and nature. There's no golf here, and few fancy hotels. The island doesn't even have a stoplight, but its life-guarded beach was just named the third best in the United States by Dr. Beach. Avoid New York City. Sure, there's lots to see and do. Times Square, Rockefeller Center, the National September 11th Memorial and Museum, to name a few. But come summer, it's hot and sticky and packed with tourists, and it's one of the most expensive cities in the world, no matter when you visit. Instead, Pittsburgh, often passed over in favor of Philadelphia, Pittsburgh offers budget attractions and a buzzing food and art scene. Touring the University of Pittsburgh's 42-story Cathedral of Learning is just $4 for adults, $2 for children. The Gothic Revival skyscraper, commissioned in 1921, is on the National Register of Historic Places. Among the free attractions is the Frick Art and Historical Center, showcasing an extensive antique car collection. Avoid Savannah, Georgia. Fascinating and historic, known for its antebellum architecture, Savannah is worth a visit, but it's probably best to plan that visit for spring or fall, saving money and yourself. The average daily temperature in July is 90 degrees, and it's all but guaranteed to be muggy. Instead, Liberty County, Georgia. Like Savannah, there's a great deal of history to explore, minus the crowds. Trace the history of the Gullah Geechee people at a living history museum that preserves the vanishing customs brought to America from Africa. The Midway Museum, $10 for adults, $5 for children, showcases a collection of heirloom furnishing, paintings, and artifacts from the colonial era. The Cay Creek Wetlands Interpretive Center, where the boardwalk passes through 9 ecosystems, is free. Avoid Seattle. If you're not a fan of spending a small fortune on a congested summer getaway, Seattle is best avoided. The Space Needle, Pinball Museum, and oysters are wonderful reasons to visit, just not at the height of tourist season. Instead, Boise, Idaho. Yes, Boise Thrills just named it a travel destination that's about to blow up. It's affordable, with an abundance of breweries and outdoor experiences, including the free Boise River Greenbelt, a 25-mile park along the Boise River that includes tree-lined paths and views of wildlife. Avoid Napa Valley, California. Napa is lovely, there's no denying it, and is wonderful to visit. Napa's peak season corresponds to harvest season, August through October, which is when to expect the highest prices on everything you see and do: wine tours, meals, accommodations. Better to visit September through November, or March through May. Instead, Walla Walla, Washington. Walla Walla is home to more than 120 wineries and has carved a niche as a global wine and culinary scene while maintaining a relaxed, small-town charm. Biking the farm-lined roads of Washington's unofficial wine capital by renting a cruiser for $10 an hour at Allegra Cyclery. Avoid Grand Canyon National Park, Arizona. The crowding at the South Rim has become so notorious the National Park Service website has a section called South Rim Crowding, a survival guide. Everyone should visit the Grand Canyon at least once in their lifetime, just not during the summer. Instead, Canyonlands National Park, Utah. Canyonlands, carved by the Colorado River and boasting fantastical buttes, is an underrated treasure among national parks, says Bridget Kotra-Springer, of the blog Where I Will Roam, and lodging and campgrounds around it are reasonably priced. Avoid Boston, Faneuil Hall, the Freedom Trail, the Public Garden. Boston has attractions in spades. Come summer, all the history, beaches, arts, and stellar restaurants make it one popular and expensive place. Save it for the fall, when the leaves turn and crowds die down. Instead, Concord, New Hampshire. Artisans' studios, farm-to-table eateries, and the Performing Arts Center are some reasons to visit this once sleepy state capital and now cultural hub, said to have the most cultural offerings north of Boston. Downtown is known for its historic buildings, public art, and unique alleys and squares. Avoid Manchester, Vermont. Another classic tourist haunt with shopping outlets and festivals. Manchester becomes crowded and expensive come summer. September through December is a better time to cross this destination off a to-do list. Instead, Waterville Valley, New Hampshire, dominated by 4,000-foot mountain peaks and picturesque roads. Waterville Valley is a place to slow down and enjoy New England. Fish, bike, rentals start at $26 for a half-day, or hike more than 30 miles of well-marked and maintained trails. Avoid Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Gatlinburg, on the edge of one of the country's top national parks, gets flooded with summer tourists taking advantage of countless hotels, gift shops, and restaurants on the way to Dolly Parton's Dollywood. Hold off. Instead, Mississippi Gulf Coast, a bit of New Orleans mixed with a little tropical Caribbean paradise results in long, white sandy beaches, artist communities, and a growing music scene. Don't miss the galleries and creative gatherings of Bay Street. Lewis. For music, head to Ocean Springs, but don't miss the miles of nature trails and bicycle trails. Avoid Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Catching a glimpse of the Amish way of life is one of the big attractions in Lancaster, but rampant commercial development competes with the horses and buggies. The Dutch Wonderland Kids Park is here, and outlet shopping draws visitors seeking to capitalize on Pennsylvania's lack of sales tax on most clothing. Instead, Texas Hill Country, Texas. This up-and-coming wine region is about 30 minutes outside Austin, but a world away from the big city crowds. While taking two-lane roads past lakes and limestone canyons, don't miss Farm Road 337, where oaks and cacti cling to rock ledges, or the swimming at Cross Springs in Spicewood, a 115-acre park with 32 springs. Admission is $8 for adults, $5 for children ages 4 to 11. Avoid Ocean City, Maryland. As a coastal city known for seafood, mini golf, and a Ferris wheel, Ocean City population naturally balloons between Memorial Day and Labor Day, with hordes of partying college and high school-age visitors included. Hotel prices here nearly double too. Avoid the madness by visiting in September or October. Instead, Camden, Maine. Some tourists might head to Kennebec, made famous by the Bush family, but Camden is much less crowded. There was just 4,850 population at the most recent census in the seaside village of Victorian inns, boutiques, galleries, and restaurants. Also worth a visit, the 5,700-acre Camden Hill State Park has 30 miles of hiking trails, oceanside picnic areas, a campground, and a road leading to the 800-foot summit of Mount Batty. Avoid Las Vegas, Nevada. Want to score in Las Vegas? Go in the spring, or hold off on visiting until September. The crowds here in summer mean higher hotel rates and less room at the pool. And then there's the temperature, it'll be regularly well above 100 degrees. Instead, Salt Lake City, Utah. Double the money you save avoiding gambling and tourist traps without sacrificing fine dining. Look for Takashi, which single-handedly raised the culinary stakes in Salt Lake for Japanese cuisine, or attractions. The Leo Museum honors Leonardo da Vinci with art, science, and technology under one roof. But there's also white sand beaches, and hiking. Because the city hasn't exploded yet, you won't be exploring these things with thousands of other tourists. Avoid Martha's Vineyard, Massachusetts. Outstanding restaurants, mansions, stunning beaches, boating, biking, and unique shopping help make Martha's Vineyard a place to see and be seen, drawing countless celebrity visitors that have included Presidents Clinton and Obama. But with all this fabulousness comes a seasonal surge in population to 115,000 from 15,500, sky-high prices and a whole lot of hassle. Wait until fall. Instead, Cape Breton, Canada. Cape Breton, about 650 miles north of Portland, Maine, allows a true getaway for lovers of beaches and nature on a 4,000-square-mile island filled with charming inns. Avoid Jones Beach, New York. Travel Plus Leisure describes this overrun beach, part of Jones Beach State Park in Nassau County, as being like Grand Central Station at rush hour. It attracts about 5.1 million visitors annually to its attractions, including an outdoor concert arena and a 2-mile boardwalk. It all sounds lovely for October. Instead, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. This may not seem like an obvious recommendation, but Coeur d'Alene has more than 55 lakes, and that makes for a lot of beach activities on scenic Lake Coeur d'Alene include boat rentals and paddle boarding, and elsewhere there is hiking, golfing, and camping, as well as weekly concerts in city parks. Avoid Venice Beach, California. With about 16 million visitors annually, this is one of the most crowded beaches in America. The colorful mix of fortune tellers, merchant, and artists is fascinating to observe, but it's Southern California, you don't need to see them in summer. Instead, Asbury Park, New Jersey, famously the subject of Bruce Springsteen's 2000 song My City of Ruins, Asbury Park has faced both economic challenges and the battering of Hurricane Sandy, but it's on the upswing, with thriving food and live music scenes, a boardwalk, don't miss the vintage pinball machines, shopping, and art galleries. Avoid Waikiki Beach, Hawaii. From iconic Waikiki Beach you can see Diamond Head, one of the world's most popular climbable volcanoes. There's also nearly 2 miles of white sand, and warm, turquoise water. But if you're after solitude, or just some room to spread a beach blanket, this isn't the best choice. Instead, Islamorada, Florida. One of the best-kept secrets in the Florida Keys is more than just a beach. There are art galleries to explore, fine dining to enjoy, water sports and serious fishing opportunities, and only a 90-minute drive from Miami International Airport. Don't miss feeding the tarpon at Robbie's Marina, where dock admission is $2 and a bucket of fish is $3. You can also rent a kayak there, or book a tour. Avoid Virginia Beach, Virginia. Virginia Beach's oceanfront lifestyle is in full swing from May through September, meaning the city, beaches, and 3-mile long boardwalk are overrun. Consider saving this destination for April or early May. Instead, Titusville, Florida. Swap out Virginia Beach's boardwalk for Titusville's quirky downtown and you get a lot with it. Titusville is along Florida's Space Coast and home to the Kennedy Space Center, but also to the Merritt Island National Wildlife Refuge, where visitors can see manatees, birdwatch, fish, and hike for $10 admission. For beach time, hit Playa Linda, another $10, an undeveloped and uncrowded stretch with a nearby wildlife refuge. Be warned, Playa Linda draws nude sunbathers. Avoid Lake Tahoe, California. Wildly popular in winter thanks to world-class ski slopes and resorts, Lake Tahoe is also a favorite destination come summer, when its shores are awash in beach umbrellas and sun seekers. Best to visit this lake and mountain paradise from March through May, or September through November. Instead, Fallen Leaf Lake, California. You don't have to go far to find a less crowded alternative to Lake Tahoe. Fallen Leaf Lake is about a mile south, with National Forest System water left clear by a lack of commercial development, hidden springs and waterfalls. Fallen Leaf Campground has more than 200 sites and 6 yachts, costing the many boaters and bikers about $35 a night without electricity. Avoid Portland, Oregon. Portland has the International Rose Test Garden, Portland Art Museum, and Saturday Market, and really comes alive from June through August. But along with the sunshine comes crowds and increased hotel prices. September is just as lovely, with a drop in crowds and accommodation prices. Instead, Salem, Oregon. Salem and the Willamette Valley is the state's agricultural heart and known for its vineyards. It was Wine Enthusiast's 2016 Wine Region of the Year, and gardens, such as the 91-acre Bushes Pasture Park, where there's fruiting and flowering trees, native plants, a formal rose garden, trails and picnic areas. But don't miss exploring historic buildings such as the Bush House Museum, $6 for adults, $4 for kids 16 and older, $3 for those under 16. Avoid San Francisco. San Francisco has much to offer with its restaurants, museums, parks, and shops, but it is one of the most expensive cities in the country, and tourists come in droves anyway. Most don't know the weather is actually better between September and November. Instead, Santa Cruz, California, a more low-key, laid-back version of life in California, Santa Cruz offers hiking in the coastal redwood forests of Wilder Ranch State Park. Day-use parking is $10, fun for all on the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk, including the iconic Giant Dipper wooden roller coaster, and, for the surfers, legendary breaks. Avoid Cape Cod. For many New Englanders, Cape Cod is as much a tradition as turkey at Thanksgiving, but visiting during the peak tourist months of July and August can be punishing unless the best water temperatures is absolutely essential. Come in May, June, September, or October. Instead, Door County, Wisconsin, these 19 communities between Lake Michigan and Green Bay, with their lighthouses, harbors, and historic villages, are called the Cape Cod of the Midwest. There's white sandy beaches. Peninsula State Park, $11, on Green Bay is home to the sheltered Nicollet Beach, known for its calm waters, and uninhabited islands surrounding the peninsula where birds nest.